We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. Our current strategy of nation building and regime change is a proven absolute failure.
We will break the cycle of regime change.
We must abandon the failed policy of nation building
Fucking joke.
and regime change that Hillary Clinton pushed in Iraq, in Libya, in Egypt, and in Syria. Regime change takes chaos. You've seen how that works over the last 20 years. That hasn't been too good.
Not a reckless interventionist globalism.
We're getting out of the nation building business. We're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. We're going to run the country.
This dude's such an idiot, and I voted for him 3 times. And man, I feel like I've been played, guys. And I know a lot of my old Trump supporters who used to consider themselves MAGA also regret voting for Trump too. He has 100% sold out to the Israel lobby and the neocon lobby. And today we're going to go through how Israel is connected to the Somalia fraud that was exposed recently with Nick Shirley, and how they're connected to what happened in Venezuela. If you haven't heard, this administration bombed them this morning, and it looked like kidnapped Maduro. That doesn't mean I support Maduro. I think he was a communist and he wasn't a nice guy. But that doesn't mean with our taxes and our government, when we have hundreds of problems here in America, that we should be funding and using our military to go into foreign countries to install a puppet government, which I'm about to show you. They already have the puppet to lead that government, who is a Zionist, an open Zionist. We're going to expose all of you guys. Hope you guys are having a blessed day with you and your loved ones. Let's get it started, y'all. Please like, comment, hit that subscribe button. So we have Adam right here, who's going to expose the person who America and Israel wants to replace Maduro, and it's all connected through Israel.
This is supposed to be the woman who's taking over Venezuela. Not only is she pro-Israeli, she's pro-Likud. She signed a cooperation deal in 2020 with Netanyahu's Likud party. She fully supports Netanyahu's war on Gaza. Is this why we're seeing the bombing of them right now?
The UN has allowed the bombing and destruction of Beirut and Lebanon. They've allowed the bombing and destruction of Syria. Every day they permit the bombing of Yemen's Arab people. And now they're going to look the other way again. Now, what does Berlin say? What does Paris say? What does London say? What does Washington say? Will they keep encouraging the Hitler of the 21st century now against the noble, peaceful people of Iran? Well, I say the Bolivarian, humanist, peaceful people of Venezuela say no to war. This madness must be stopped. People of Israel, brothers, Jews, as a Christian and Sephardic heir, I tell you, stop Netanyahu's madness. Only the people of Israel can stop this madness. Where will this warmongering lead? Where will such racism, intolerance, hatred, and violence lead? Do they think missiles and bombs will subdue?
Yeah, you are totally right, Jonathan. And actually, I saved a few videos, but I kind of want to stay on topic. I actually saved a few videos that I bookmarked on X where they actually explain Nick Shirley and his background. Remember when Israel had all these new and upcomer influencers who interviewed people on the public streets? He was one of them that went to Israel. And also look into his family ties as well. They have committed fraud as well. The whole family's shady. And I do think that Nick Shirley was a trusted, let's say, influencer. I forgot he went to Israel. Otherwise, I want to support him. I don't support any Zionists these days after learning about Israel and their atrocities. But they kind of just handed it to him on a platter. And now it's being exposed that it was Israel who was the one that exposed all of the Somalia fraud, while they pretty much made it happen in the same place. So it's like they're supporting it and exposing it. It's weird, but we're gonna expose it all. But I hope you're having a blessed day, my friend.
The will of the world's peoples. Where will so much destruction lead? Stop the aggression against Palestinians, Lebanese, Syrians, Yemenis, and the noble people of Iran. The ball is in the court of Israel's Jewish people. Stop this immoral war, this criminal war. We shall see.
I mean, where is he wrong? Even though I do think that he is a dictator and I don't think he is the best person to run a country, where is he wrong? There is genocide. And unfortunately, this administration, who we voted for, is allowing it to happen. And also, here's another incidence of Trump being a hypocrite.
Arrested and charged the lead. You know, y'all, I'm not the smartest man in the world, so maybe you guys can help me out with this. Because it seems to me that the United States government, President Trump, just arrested and charged the leader of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, for the same things he literally just pardoned the former president of Honduras for. Yeah, because I just saw this. Juan Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, was charged with conspiracy to import cocaine into the United States and various weapons charges having something to do with machine guns. And I just saw this tweet from Pam Bondi. And tell me if I'm wrong here, but it looks to be exactly what they were charging Maduro for. Is it just me, or does it seem wildly inconsistent? Because really, what's the difference? I don't really get it. Is the difference the fact that the Maduro recently made pornography, gay marriage, abortion?
That's another thing. You know, Israel is for that, and they allow convicted pedophiles to go to their country and to just stay safe. But they banned, as he said, gay marriage, transgenderism, like grooming in schools, no abortions. That's in Venezuela. They banned that. So if they're such a bad country, yet they have the same beliefs as conservatives, what does that tell you? Trump isn't a conservative. He has literally been ran by the war hawks, the neocons, who get rich as fuck off dead Americans and our taxes.
And usury illegal? I don't know, because maybe I'm seeing a pattern here. It seems to me that when a world leader decides he wants to loan his people money without interest, for some reason, the Western countries to say he's got to go. Maybe it's all just a wild coincidence. What do you guys think?
Also, I think it has to do with the oil supply. Venezuela supposedly, it looks like, has the biggest amounts of oil, and they want to take that from them, and that it's just disgusting. I never thought that I would see us getting into these overseas wars that Trump promised. He was the anti-war president, but if it benefits Israel and Netanyahu, as you said, Jonathan, then we know he's on board on it, because he is, and I'm sorry for my language, Trump in my eyes is Israel's biggest bitch at this point. At this point in time, I have no respect for the man anymore.
Venezuela is the problem, aren't we? Drugs, terrorism, criminal leadership. That's the headline that we're being fed. But here's the fact that nobody can argue with. Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserve.
Am I right or am I right? I literally just said it has to do with oil. Just like the Iraq war, there was never any weapons of mass destruction. And the same exact people that are cheering on what Trump did today are those same warmongers who cheered on the Iraq war the whole entire time, and are the same people that are cheering on the genocide in Palestine, that is. So I don't give a F what they think.
In the entire world, right? Number one, over 300 billion barrels, even more than Saudi Arabia. So, you know, the richest oil country on earth right now just so happens to be the next world terror threat. Now, listen, I'm not saying that it's about oil.
It is.
I'm just saying that it's never irrelevant, right? Because when you zoom out of this situation, this story starts sounding very familiar. You know, let's rewind back to 2003. Do we remember this guy? Back when there was a situation in Iraq, you know, when Iraq was one of the richest oil nations in the world. It had massive reserves and a strategic location. And what were we told about this guy right here, Saddam Hussein? It was about weapons of mass destruction, right? Terrorism, an urgent worldwide threat. That story led to the invasion of Iraq, and then they captured Saddam Hussein, right? He was literally executed. And what happened after, right? There was no weapons of mass destruction that was ever found in Iraq. Now listen, I'm not...
The Iraq war was fought 100% in benefit of Israel. It has been Israel behind every war, from what I could see or look into in history, that is behind it all. Israel is the demon country. You know, they spit on Christians in Israel. They don't even believe. Who crucified Jesus? It was the Jews. And they run Hollywood. They run the music industry. They run big platforms, big tech. They run the school industry and what your kids are being taught in school. The Jewish people, I love you guys. You have every right to live. It is the government of Israel that we are critiquing and that we cannot stand. I love everyone. You treat people how you want to be treated. But when it comes to the government of Israel, you guys are Satanists, and I see you guys as the devil.
I'm not saying that Venezuela is Iraq, because, you know, times change and excuses change and the languages change, but the pattern is always the same. Ultimately, you know, a resource-rich country is labeled as danger. You know, the sanctions don't work, the pressure builds, then the force is sort of justified, and later we're told, you know, oops, we got it all wrong. So when people are, you know, thinking that this might have some sort of inner story or sound a little bit familiar, it's because history doesn't repeat. It literally rhymes. But yeah, of course, as always, this was all just for entertainment. Clearly, it's just a coincidence that Venezuela is the richest oil.
And also, not to mention, it's going mega viral today. So what people did throughout all of America is replace Mondera's body with Tim Waltz's body. Even though that dude was a moron, and as I said, it was Israel behind it, he allowed it to happen in his state. And as I've said, both sides are owned by Israel. So it doesn't matter if Israel is involved. You are the governor of the state of Minnesota, and you allowed billions in fraud, and you knew about it. You pushed the programs. You used taxpayer funds to fund it. So the fact that we're going to foreign countries of Venezuela to get their president, but not arrest local politicians who have committed treason on the American people, just tells you where this administration's priorities are at. They are not for America. They are 100% for Israel. And that's why I think the longer this Epstein debacle goes on where they don't release the goods, the longer I think that Trump is involved and is a pedophile. If he wasn't, if he had nothing to hide, he would release them. But I think Israel and our CIA are the ones that were pulling the strings behind the scenes, and they can't let that go because they know once they release all of the true goods, the whole system comes crumbling down. But isn't that what we were promised? Retribution, Trump? You were going to bring down the whole deep state? And you didn't. If anything, he has contributed to the deep state. So it's breaking. This was 3 hours ago. Venezuela's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, blames Zionists in Israel for kidnapping Maduro. Let's see what she has to say.
Mundo están sencillamente impactados de que sea la República Bolivariana de Venezuela víctima y objeto de un ataque de esta naturaleza que tiene sin duda alguna tinte sionista. Es realmente vergonzoso. Lo dijo nuestro padre libertador en la Carta de Jamaica. El velo se ha rasgado, ya hemos visto la luz y se nos quiere volver a las tinieblas. Se han roto las cadenas, ya hemos sido libres y nuestros enemigos pretenden de nuevo esclavizarnos. Si hay algo que el pueblo venezolano y que este país tiene muy claro, es que jamás volveremos a ser esclavos. Se activa toda Venezuela y el decreto que ya fue suscrito por el presidente Maduro, único presidente de Venezuela. Hay un solo presidente en este país que se llama Nicolás Maduro Moro.
And then on top of that, you have this administration today going on X and posting from the White House account that this is the peace president, yet he's threatening to bomb Iran on Israel's benefit, attacking Venezuela on Israel's benefit and for oil. This is just so infuriating. As a previous Trump supporter, I'll be the first to admit we got totally played, guys. And this is my favorite. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey are the true America First patriots that we need to elect in future elections. The swamp that is the Zionist Israel AIPAC lobby are trying to get Thomas Massey out, but he's fighting for we the people. Let's see what he has to say about the invasion in Venezuela today.
Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized for 3 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, James Madison warned us that in no part of the Constitution is more wisdom to be found than in the clause which confides the question of war and peace to the legislature and not the executive. Madison called it the crown jewel of Congress. The framers understood a simple truth. To the extent that war-making power devolves to one person, liberty dissolves. If the president believes military action against Venezuela is justified and needed, he should make the case and Congress should vote.
Exactly.
Before American lives and treasure are spent on regime change in South America. Let's be honest about likely outcomes. Do we truly believe that Nicolas Maduro will be replaced?
Look at this guy smirking in the background. You know, it takes balls to be able to approach a situation like Thomas Massey has. He is the only Republican from what I've seen besides Marjorie Taylor Greene with the balls and the cojones to call out this administration.
By a modern...
Plus, it's Congress that has to vote to go to war. This administration violated that, as every administration has previously.
Day George Washington? How did that work out? In Cuba, Libya, Iraq, or Syria, previous presidents told us to go to war over WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, that did not exist. Now it's the same playbook, except we're told that drugs are the WMDs. If it were about drugs, we'd bomb Mexico or China or Colombia.
Exactly.
And the president would not have pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez.
What about the traffickers or the cartel or where the real drugs are coming from, China and Mexico? Why aren't we breaking into these countries? We already know why. It's about the oil. It's about Israel. That's what it's always about. Money.
This is about oil and regime change. And when it comes to regime change, we've already been down this road with Venezuela with nothing to show for it. In 2019, we recognized Juan Guaido. We seized their embassy here in D.C. We were told that regime change was imminent. Years later, Maduro remains in power. Today, we're told to place our hopes in other exiled figures. Edmundo Gonzalez and Maria Corina Machado. I wish them well, I do. But Congress should not express moral sympathy in the form of a blank check for military escalation and American lives. And let's take a moment to acknowledge the contradiction at the heart of this policy. This administration tells us that the Maduro regime is made up of narco-terrorists, and by escalating toward war, we would predictably create countless refugees.
The drugs don't even come from Venezuela. You were right, Jonathan. Mexico is where the drug problem comes from. Yes, they're lying to us. That's what it comes down to. But you are right.
At the same time, this administration has moved to end temporary protected status for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans and deports them back to the very regime it condemns. So which is it? Are we prepared to receive swarms of the 25 million Venezuelans who will likely become refugees and billions in American treasure that will be used to destroy and inevitably rebuild that nation? Do we want a miniature Afghanistan in the Western Hemisphere? If that cost is acceptable to this Congress, then we should vote on it as a voice of the people and in accordance with our Constitution. And yet today, here we aren't even voting on whether to declare war or authorize the use of military force. All we're voting on is a war powers resolution that strengthens the fabric of our republic by reasserting the plain and simple language in the Constitution that Congress must decide questions of war. I urge support for this resolution, and I yield back.
Man, I just love Thomas Massey. He actually has principle and morals. And I'd say Trump's lowest point, besides what you mentioned, is letting the cybersecurity expert who works right-hand man next to Netanyahu, who got caught in the pedophile sting in Vegas a few months back, that they just, let go scot-free, literally the day after they caught him, right back to Israel and Netanyahu's cabinet. That was a low as well. But I mean, it seems like we are being disappointed every day in today's society in regards to the MAGA movement, as I call it, which is just make Israel great again. It's a complete fucking joke. Sorry for my language. I'm legit livid about how this administration has handled everything lately. It's a complete joke. If you guys haven't followed this guy on X, the artist known as Jess, he says the realest shit. And he was actually a Trumper like me. And now he's like me, calling this administration out for their fakeness and not keeping their promises.
A group of retard-level IQ Somali pirates could pull off a $9 billion...
By the way, he's about to expose the fraud Somali videos and connect it to Israel.
fraud scheme. That hasn't made sense to me from day one. I was like, there's no, well, what are they just, they're just super geniuses and fraud and paperwork? Because when I listen to them talk, they all seem retarded. No, they're put up to it. They're put up to it. It all makes sense today. Reporting out of Israel. Yeah, they're saying that the entire Somali pirate fraud scheme was set up out of Israel's prime minister's office. And it goes all the way back to 2013 when they came up with the plan to ship all the Palestinians in Gaza. Yeah, they're going to ship them all to Somalia. How's the plan work? They take a bunch of Somalians out of Somalia, bring them to America, set them up in a whole big old fraud scheme, and then they send $9 billion of our money back to Somalia to buy off and purchase the northern chunk of Somalia, where Israel is already building military bases, where they intend to ship all of the fucking Palestinians from Gaza over to the north end of Somalia, what they're calling Somaliland.
I'm actually curious what side you are on when it comes to the war. I think Russia had every right to defend itself. They kept pushing them on their borders. Plus, they had a peace treaty, which Biden and Boris Johnson broke up. I'm on the side of Russia. I think that they have been pushed and pushed and pushed, and then they warned them over and over, don't join NATO as well, which we knew the last administration was trying to push them into. Now we got Trump sending Ukraine billions of dollars of our taxes and our military supplies to fund this war that they know that Ukraine has no chance to win. This administration is fumbling and failing on every issue besides securing the border. That is all of the kudos you're getting from me on this administration. I would give them a D-. And the reason it's not an F is because of the secure the border. But that's it.
Yeah, they already named it. That shit's already out there. Go look up Somaliland and then look at who fucking created it, who dropped the idea. Yeah, that's right. It's Israel's plan. It's Israel's plan. So it's not left or right, because Tim Walz didn't even come up with this shit. And his cut was like probably the 5 or 10 peanuts. They gave the Democrats $5 or $10 million of that fraud and told them just to shut up and let them. It's both sides. This is the fucking web of evil that we are caught in. And they want you to focus on fucking Tim Walz. No, this was a Zionist plot. And if you think they're going to fucking allow us to ship any of those Somalis back to fucking Somalia, that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen, because that was part of the deal. You cleared out that fucking whole pile of fucking people to make room for all the Palestinians that they want to fucking clean out of Gaza. And Trump even fucking dropped this. He fucking dropped this shit in that press conference. He said that. I didn't make no sense to me. He's like, I don't know, maybe we'll just ship all the fucking Gazans over to Somalia. And I was just like, the fuck are you talking about, dude? You can't just fucking pick up all those people and just ship them to another country, and some other country's gonna be like, yeah, okay, unless you pay them off with fucking billions and billions of dollars and buy the northern part of the country. And dude, it all makes sense now, doesn't it? There it is. There it is for you. The deep state fucking fraudulent bullshit that goes on with these Zionist fucks, and they make you think it's the fucking Democrats. Fucking Democrats and the fucking Somalis didn't come up with this. Tim Walz too fucking retarded. He's as retarded as Somali pirates. And then everybody's gonna fight about it. And they're like, oh, and then people are gonna say Nick Shirley's in on it, and he's a Zionist. He doesn't even have to know about it. Like, I don't even think it was supposed to come out. It was
He is
not
a Zionist.
supposed to be exposed. I bet you the fraud scheme isn't even done. So what? And now they're just gonna. You will know them by the fruits of their labor. When they start fucking shipping Palestinians to fucking Somaliland, there you go. What more proof do you need? It's gonna happen. Promise you. So fucking cooked. We are so fucking cooked. Good luck to you all.
I think we're going to have a revolution, guys, where we're going to have to, take away this tyrannical government. And might seem we're the land of the free, but we're just slaves to the system. We pay, as I said previously, I'd say about 50 to 70% in taxes, because we're getting taxed on everything. Not to mention, when you finally own something, you got to pay taxes on that as well. And every single thing you are spending money on, you are getting taxed. Your checks are getting taxed. I would say the border's fine now, but under the previous administration, you can't deny the 20 plus million they let in. But that doesn't mean, and I don't even think that should be a number one focus. The focus should be getting these Zionists out of the government. That's all I'm saying. Eliminate Israel out of the equation altogether when it comes to lobbying for the United States. But unfortunately, That's going to be hard to do because it seems like they control both sides. And this guy says he actually is the one that originally exposed how Israel was behind the Somali fraud story. Let's see what he has to say.
How is the Israeli Mossad related to the recent corruption that was discovered in Minnesota? You're not going to believe it, but there actually is a substantial connection, and it runs through the Israeli Prime Minister office. I'll start from the end. Israel just established relationships with Somaliland, which is not Somalia. But the backstory to the whole Minnesota corruption story is that much of those funds, and again, I think the initial number that came out is about $9 billion. Again, this is crazy. American taxpayer money of, let's say, $15 billion that they imagine were stolen or misdiverted from public funds. About $9 billion of those were sent back to support terrorism, or what they would call the Muslim Brotherhood actions, and this is tied into Qatar. And Israel, of course, was behind the scenes, and I know people love these conspiracies, in leaking some of the information that is responsible or related to the funding of terrorism using that exact money. So the fact that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has a phone call and recognizes Somaliland is tied into Qatar being a supporter of the Muslim Brotherhood, tied into the Somali funds that were stolen in Minnesota funding terrorism in the Middle East. That is a story that came out right now. It really blows my mind how global terrorism works, but it's such an amazing thing that it was uncovered, and I'm sure there's more news to come on this topic.
Yep, not surprised. Israel tends to be behind all the fuckery that happens in this world. And this is one of my favorite guys to listen to. If you haven't heard of him, his name, I thought it was, Real AF with Andy Friskilla. Check this guy out. His clips are the bomb. This is where we're feeling right now in America in regards to this administration.
We are being lied to. And not only are we being lied to, we're being exploited at the highest degree. And then on top of it, we're being replaced with the dollars that we work our fucking asses off to produce for our families. They are taking those dollars, they are bringing in people that fucking hate us, and then they are paying them to be here. And if that doesn't piss you the fuck off, dude, I don't know what will. Because I'm going to tell you this, dude, I've worked my fucking ass off for damn near 30 motherfucking years trying to create jobs and careers and build income and wealth and done all this shit. And these motherfuckers are opening up a daycare and getting 10 million fucking dollars. This is fucking insane, dude. And
with no kids.
If this isn't the breaking point for everybody to stand the fuck up and say enough, then our country is fucking doomed. Period. 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 Okay? Donald Trump needs to feel all the fucking smoke over this.
Agree.
All of it.
Agree.
Okay? He needs to feel all of it over Israel. He needs to understand that he is violating the promises that he has made to the American people. Okay? I've always been a guy that has given that man tons and tons and tons of benefit of the doubt. But
all right, that's where I'm gonna end there. No more. I don't have any more doubt. I just know he's a neocon snake who lied to the American people. That's my personal beliefs. But I have to run to the store with my lady to get dinner. I hope you guys have a blessed night with you and your loved ones. I will be doing another live tomorrow and a couple other reactions. Hope you guys have a blessed night. Peace out. Talk to you guys soon. Oh, also, I'm going to be doing street interviews in these upcoming 2 weeks. I'm going to be going exposing the homeless crisis in California. I'm going to be exposing, hopefully, I'm just going to talk to everyday Americans. And yeah, I agree. Grocery prices, it's ridiculous how much they're up right now. Maybe that's something I could do also, is interview people in grocery stores and see what their perspectives are. But I just got a brand new camera set up, and I'm going to start doing so many interviews in public, and I hope you guys tune in. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a blessed night. Peace.